Okay, folks, we're back. This is Andrew Cummings again with Missionary Monday Live, and I did this. I started this before and got a good way into our presentation for today, and then I looked on my thing and I noticed that my video was sideways, and so I had a setting on my phone that was wrong, so I had to go and redo that. So if you were there for the first part of our little broadcast here, I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat some stuff, just because I download these videos afterwards and then put them on YouTube, make them available on our website and so on, and in our prayer letter. So um, I'm sorry. I'm just going to repeat some stuff. So you might want to just either hang on through the time if you're watching this live, or just come back in a couple minutes and we'll be talking about some new stuff. But so if you look at the title of this, Missionary Monday Live, the best laid plans. If I had room, I'd have put the best laid plans of missionaries and men. That's a kind of a long title, so I just went best laid plans. The idea being that our plans often go awry, and this week was one of those weeks. We had all kinds of plans for this week. Thursday, we had planned for a family from our church to come and spend some time here with us Thursday night, and we were going to open our home to them. And the father's not a believer, and so we're planning on hoping to be able to talk to him and share Christ with him. That did not happen, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And on Friday's my birthday, and I was planning on getting away. And my birthday present this year was going to be an evening together, just my wife and I, at a local hotel. So that was going to be our plan, and for Friday. And then Saturday, I was really looking forward to Saturday, because Saturday was a conference of one of our churches, one of our local churches, the annual conference, and they have a pastor coming up from the state of Ceará, who's a good friend of ours and an outstanding speaker. So we were looking forward to being edified by the Word of God through that event. And then Sunday is Reformation Sunday, and I always make a big deal out of that in our church. And then this Sunday was kind of a big deal, because it's the 500th anniversary of the Reformation, and so I was excited about that. And I had this thing that I got from my brother Daniel in Lakeland, Florida. This idea, he found a message that Spurgeon preached about Martin Luther, using Martin Luther as kind of the hermeneutical hook, if you will, or the homiletical hook, I guess, to talk about the passage in Habakkuk, the just shall live by faith. And so that was so I found that, and I looked, and sure enough, we have that message in Portuguese. And so, sorry about my phone just gave a little. There we go. That message in Portuguese, I found it and made a few modifications. Was going to preach that Sunday. So we were really looking forward to a very full weekend, starting actually on Thursday. Tuesday evening, we went and visited my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. They just had a little baby, a little Joaquin, and we went and visited them. And while we were visiting them, while we were talking to them, I noticed that there was something in my eye. And I was trying to get this. This is annoying. Something in my eye, and I couldn't get it out. I didn't really think much of it. It's something, my eyelash or something, got embedded up in there, and I drove home. And it was really late by the time we got home, so I didn't do too much. We just went to bed. And when I got up in the morning, Wednesday morning, I had full blown pink eye. I think, pink eye. What is this? 5th grade? I haven't had pink eye since forever, and pink eye is the stuff we stay home from elementary school because of pink eye. We don't get pink eye when we're adults. Well, I got pink eye. Conjunctivitis, which is in Portuguese, they call it the Portuguese word conjuntivite, which is conjunctivitis. And so that's what I had. Yeah, there was no doubt. We even went up online. Symptoms, yep, it's conjunctivitis. Plus the whole eye being pink thing. It was a big dead giveaway. And it started at one eye, and then on Wednesday it effectively moved to 2 eyes. And so I was in a bed, and it was really bad pink eye. I mean, there's pink eye where your eye turns a little pink, and there's pink eye where you're just kind of swollen shut, and you're looking out through 2 little slits, and every time you roll your eyes, it hurts. And that's the kind of pink eye I had. Every time you try to do something just a little different with your eyes, it would hurt. It was painful. Um, so I that obviously that was Wednesday, and I looked at my whole weekend just going up in smoke. And so we called the family that was coming over, said, you're probably not going to want to come over tomorrow because we don't want to give pink eye to your whole family. Friday, I had to call the hotel. I said, listen, I'm not going to be able to make my Friday reservation. Can you put it for a couple weeks away? And they did, so that was all taken care of. And the toughest thing was having to talk to my fellow pastor here and say, I'm not going to be able to make your church's conference, especially at our conference, which was just 2 weeks ago. He was there, and they had a whole bunch of people there from the church. So they had, that whole dynamic was going on, and then I had to cancel. And then I said that was the hardest. Actually, the hardest thing was on Sunday, canceling my own presence at our church, and I felt very bad about that, and not being able to give the Reformation Sunday message. I'm still going to give it, just next week, or this coming Sunday. Fortunately, our Pastor Foncivaldo, our team member, he was right there, ready to take over the reins of the service, and so everything went fine, and our church stepped up and did a great job, and everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. So that brings us to today, which is Monday. As about Saturday, my eyes were feeling better, but still a little red. I don't know if you can see. I think they're probably still just a tad red right now, but they feel a lot better. A little scratchy, not nearly as bad as they were. I'm still avoiding being where there are a lot of people. Although in a few minutes, and if you want to pray for me, in a few minutes, there's a little boy in our church named Kalwan. Some of you who've been to visit us have met Kalwan. Kalwan has come to our church faithfully. He comes from a very bad family background. He has an uncle who's been like a father to him. His father's not in the picture, but he has an uncle who's been like a father to him. And his uncle was in his 30s, early 30s, like 32, 33, something like that. And he died. And just recently, very sudden heart attack, massive heart attack, and just died. And this was this morning. And so we got our church around, and I just talked to our deacons, and we're setting up a little. We have a little charity fund, deacons fund, I guess, if you will, and we set that up, and so we're going to be taking them an offering to kind of help the families not very well off economically speaking, and so they're going through some needs right now. So be praying for that. Be praying for Kalwan and the rest of his family in this situation. So I'm gonna go over there just to say hello and just to pray with them and just to take the gift that our church has. So be praying with me for that. So what did I do this weekend? Well, for my birthday, I got to hang out with my family, which was wonderful. It was very relaxing. I tried to keep up with all the wonderful things that people said on my Facebook feed. With no success, I was not able to keep up with them. I missed a lot of people, I'm sure, but if you were one of them, thank you very much for your kind words on our Facebook feed. It was a very pleasant, other than the Pinkeye, it was a very pleasant birthday. At the evening, we got pizza. I ate pizza here at the house, so I mean, whenever there's pizza involved, it's not a total loss. That's just one of my basic philosophies of life, and so that was a plus. And then I did a lot of work in my garden. Once I could get out and be active again outside, I did a lot of work in my garden, planted 3 rows, 1 row of beans, 2 rows of corn. And something interesting happened this morning as I was out watering the new rows. There's a guy that walks by, and he walks by every morning as I'm out watering my garden, and he's got a hoe on his shoulder and some other garden utensils with him often. And hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Well, today he stopped and said, so what you planting there? And I said, well, I planted some carrots and some lettuce, but that didn't grow. It's not growing very well. So perhaps and I don't know. I said, I don't know. Something may have happened. I may have to replant it. And he said, "Oh, okay. What else?" And I said, "Well, I planted beans, and beans are coming up great." And then the other day, something came, and I think it's ants or something came. And he said, "Well, I work at an agriculture cooperative just down the road. It's like a big, huge field, and people have little plots of land, and they cultivate their own land." And he said, he gave me some. He said, "There's a couple things you did wrong." And he said, "You're not used to planting in this area, are you?" I said, "No, I'm actually not from here. This is the first time I've really tried to grow a garden here in Brazil." And he said, "Well, I'll stop by in a couple days and I'll give you some hints." So be praying for this guy. He told me his name, and I forgot what his name was. So I asked that you would pray that I'd be able to remember his name, but pray for this guy because he's going to be coming, and he lives close by. So this is just an opportunity, possibly a divine appointment, for me to be able to meet this guy and talk with him, and our talk about plants will come will be a segue into our talking about the creator of the plants. I don't know anything. He might be a believer already. I don't know. However, that kind of leads me into, as I've been out working in the garden and so on, there are several reasons why I started. Number one, I've always wanted to have a garden. Gardening's always been a part of my life ever since my dad would have us guys out doing chores in our humongous garden, and so there was always that aspect. I've always wanted to do it, but there's a lot of other reasons why gardening is good, and I think that if you can garden, you should. So look for, in another week or so, look for an article to come across as to why I garden. I'm going to do this in English and in Portuguese, I hope. I have it all written up here. I was actually writing it this morning as I was gardening. So some interesting things happening. Now, I want to give you a couple links down here in our page. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to pull them up. And my internet access, I'm very happy that I'm actually able to do this here because my internet access is not that great. But it's my internet. It's just not been that fast today, so this might take a little bit. Here we go. I'm putting up a link underneath the video that I'm doing here, and that link is to another video that I did, and I did this video. Not live. I pre-recorded it, but it was played at the meeting at the 75th anniversary meeting of the Northeast Fellowship of Independent Baptist Churches, and I stumbled over that name. When I was growing up, it was called the Empire State Fellowship, and it's the fellowship of regular Baptist churches and independent Baptist churches in New York State. And this is a great fellowship, and I won't belabor it too much now. I was given the opportunity to pre-record this message that was played for them. It was a huge honor for me to be able to do this, and I put the link there. So if you want to listen to that message, you can. It's just a short message, but it talks about how much and that Empire State Fellowship of Churches had a huge impact on my life, my formative years, and I kind of cut my teeth theologically in their sessions and got to know a lot of pastors, and as a result, even though my sending church is in Lakeland, Florida, the vast majority of my support comes from upstate New York. So it's just a huge impact they've had in my life, and so that video's there. You can see it. I'm going to throw another video or another link. Yeah, it's another video too. This was a great day for videos. Sorry about that, guys. Gotta tell you, the quality of this particular recording is just going to be outstanding. There we go. I have it sitting on a pile of books, as I usually do, propped up, my phone propped up to do this, and today it is Schaeffer's Systematic Theology. So last week I think it was Winston Churchill, today is Schaeffer's Systematic Theology. So this next link is also a video that I want to have you guys listen to at your leisure. And it is a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, a couple weeks ago, I was given the chance to go to this presentation of a group called Mata Brass. Now, Mata comes from the state of Maranhão. And brass, of course, is brass in English, brass. And it's a brass quintet, if you're familiar with the Canadian brass or Empire brass. It has the same makeup, 2 trumpets, a French horn, a trombone, and a tuba. And they play, but they're outstanding. And they play mostly, not exclusively, but mostly Brazilian traditional music. And so I just put up a link, and you can see that link there. Them playing a little bossa nova melody, which of all of the Brazilian traditional songs is my favorite. And I'm going to throw one more link up here for you if I can. Yes, here we go. Also on our website, andrewcummings.com, I've started putting all of these, I'm making a couple changes. I'm putting all of these Missionary Monday Live videos on our website, and I'm also putting them on YouTube. And I haven't got around to it yet, but one of my plans is to make a dedicated YouTube channel just for these videos, so you can watch those. And my son, you'll notice there's a graphic on these videos, and that is Michael that did that. And they're very proud of his ability to make these graphics. This one, a couple weeks ago, we had our missionary, we had our conference here, and Pastor Brian King came here, and he actually sat here on this bench right beside me, and we did a live interview. Some of you watched that. Well, I have pictures of that conference and pictures and some video, and so you can watch that at your own leisure. Also, I just posted those pictures up underneath in the comments section as well. So, there's all that. So that's basically the events of these weeks. I said it was supposed to be a much more eventful week, but very unexpectedly. And I guess God just wanted me to hang out at home for a while and maybe rest and recuperate physically from the running around that we did for conference. That very well could be. I would ask your prayers. This next meeting, this next week coming up, I have a meeting, a couple meetings. I have a meeting with a group of people who were putting together a music week. Very excited about this music week. I'm going to be talking more about this later on. Basically, it's designed to help raise the musical level of our churches, and it's styled after similar music seminars that are held at the seminary and then also in different cities. And so we're very excited about this. And I've got a group coming from the United States, from upstate New York, from Tuscarora Baptist Church. Kathy Knowles and some other people are going to be coming and helping us and putting on this music week. We're going to have training in music theory, in singing and instruments, and they're going to put together a choir and an orchestra, and it's just going to be outstanding. Very excited to be a part of this, and I've got a group of young people that are really excited about this as well. I have a guy, Newton Jr. Newton is helping me out. Newton spent the summer in the United States preparing for this and getting to know the people who are going to be coming down and participating in a music week that Lamoka Baptist Camp has there. His English also, during those 2 months that he was there, his English improved exponentially to the extent that someday I'm going to be able to have him sit here in the not too distant future. We just have to work our schedules. Sit here next to me, and we'll do a live video, and he and I will talk in English to you about Music Week and what's going to happen. So, very excited about that. Got some neat things coming up with the camp. I'm going to be going to camp, stopping by there at least probably this week sometime. If not this week, then next week. Lots of interesting stuff going on. Once again, thank you for your prayers. I'd hope to have a lot more exciting things to talk about. But obviously, Pinkeye was not in my plans, but it was in God's plans. Did not take God by surprise at all. And so we're excited to see what he has in the next few days. Be praying for the guy the guy I talked to this morning. Also, if you watched last week's video, be praying for Pedro. Pedro still needs prayer. Pedro still has not accepted Christ as his Savior, so pray for Pedro. And if you watched the video from last week, you'll see we put up the graphic that my son made based on an image someone sent me. My brother Joe sent me an image from the movie. Napoleon Dynamite. And if you've seen that, I'm sorry. But the vote for Pedro, and he switched it to pray for Pedro, and so we've got up there. And hopefully you'll pray for him and for some other guys in our church who are coming to our church, who've been coming to our church for quite a while. We've been praying for them for quite a while. They have not accepted Christ. All right, well, that's our video for today. That's what I've got. And hopefully next Monday we'll have some more things to report. Maybe some more exciting things, I'm not sure. Between now and then, take care. Thanks for listening.